Thursday evening. I got off a little later than what I expected, but that's okay. I figure I'd talk about it now on my way. Got a few things to do, and if VQ is available, I'm probably going to talk with him later tonight. Maybe do a stream. I don't know, but we'll have to see. But I just gotta make sure I do it like no later than 8:30 because I have to go to sleep by 10 and be up all over again. But yeah, I'll get to what this is about in a minute. This whole thing that I'm talking about. Situate my phone here. Oh, get some water too. Oh, it's thirsty. So yeah, get moving. Put this down. Take a nice little safe ride home. I'm in my husband's car, by the way. That's why I have my phone down at this angle, because he doesn't have like a phone holder like my car does. I have to get one for him, but that's if he wants one. And I have that off of there. He had to take my car in to get it checked today because I guess the check engine light is going on. So we don't know if it's the sensor or if it's something else. He thinks it could be the Cadillac converter. I don't think so. That. Oh, that's the one girl. I thought she'd been left for work. Oh, I thought she left before me. I guess she had something else to do before she left. I'm trying to get onto the exit here before I put music on and stuff. Let me turn this off now because I had to turn the AC on a little bit because it was a little bit warm in the car. So yeah, I labeled this stream, this topic for the ride. It's called How a Message Can Get Manipulated, right? Why I say that's because I was at work today and I was, when you're just getting ready to leave work, you pick up your phone, you see like recommended videos, right? And I see a video come up and it was in the shorts, right? And it was a woman, it was a black woman. And, she was wearing like a bonnet on her head. And I ought to share the video too. I should share the video on my post just so people see what I'm talking about. And it's just something to really look into and think about, like how people try to overlook things and they try to manipulate things, even when the message is clear in front of their face of what somebody's trying to get across. Come on, guy. Oh, he's got to move. I can't go because he's in my way. He's just standing in the middle of two white lines. She's sitting there with her bonnet, and I know I've mentioned about this a lot in my prior streams about the child, like the birth rate decliner, right? Something that the news channel has been talking a lot about, on certain networks. Oh, let me get over it, because these people, I don't know what they're doing. They're driving so weird today. It's like as if they try to ignore you, act like they don't see you trying to turn, and then they try to speed up, and then they try to swerve another way. I don't know. They're just doing weird stuff. I've spoke about this, many times, and how you have Elon Musk up there talking about, hey, he told Christian brother, right? Christian guy asked him about the birth rate. He says, I cannot have, I don't have enough money right now, and I would love to have children, but I can't afford it. He says, we'll have them anyways. The birth rate is declining, right? Gives him really bad advice to this Christian guy, and try, and of course he's going to probably use that scripture that I had mentioned before about like the idea that divide and multiply, right? God commands to divide and multiply, have children, be fruitful and multiply. But I already went into a discussion about that on my last stream. right? About the idea that no, that's not true. If it was a sin, if it was anything bad behind it, Paul would never had said it would be better to not marry than to marry. So and so he actually calls that a gift to be in singleness, right? So, you got all these people who manipulate those things and they feel like, oh yeah, they got to tell people to divide and multiply, be fruitful and multiply. This is what God commands you to do. You need to contribute to your society, they'll say something like, have children anyways, even if you can't afford them, because that's what you have to do, And then you got the vice president who says we need to make more babies in this country, right? And I just laugh because now it's starting to become a thing where everybody's lately either on certain news networks or either like certain channels and, heritage foundations, they talk a lot about this birth rate situation. So back to what this woman is saying in the shorts. She's pretty much reiterating everything that I've been talking about on like some of my streams when it's like my downtime and I don't have any topics. She's pretty much saying the same message. So, she goes on to say that, who the hell want to have children in this generation in time? These people don't care about you. They don't care about your children. That's pretty much her message. Like, they don't care about you, but yet they want to be mad. So when she sits back and says they are mad, you know who she's referring to. She's referring to people, the billionaires, the people up there with the money, the elites, people in your government that keep pushing the idea of the birth rate being low and that we need to have more children. They've even tried saying that they'll pay women $5,000. They want to make it where they'll pay women $5,000 to have children, but you can't pay me $5,000 to have a bunch of babies because guess what? That money will be going in no time. So, she's going on pretty much, short. She's just summarizing that message in a shorter term, and. She's saying that they're cutting fundings and different things like that. And who's going to have kids right now? But, you want to be mad at us, but but at the same time don't want to help us, right? That's her message. And that's what's happening. They're getting mad in the sense of not getting mad where they're yelling and screaming, but more like you can tell they're like pushing the agenda and they're frustrated and they're like saying this is bad. And they even went as far to say that, about the teenagers. The teens are not having enough babies now. I actually posted that on my shorts a little further down if you look at that on the post on the community posts. They have a man on the news saying that, and people said, what? Like, wait, hold up here. Kids are not supposed to be having kids. So now we're going to make it seem like it's a problem that teens are not having children? Is it really getting that bad? Are you really that desperate? And she's pretty much saying, yes, they don't care about you having kids. They care about whatever evil agenda they have, And they know that with the birth rate declining, it's gonna affect them in other ways. I'm not going to state what they all are because I'm sure that people, I'm sure people got common sense to know that, hey, when birth rate goes down, less people. And one of the things they complain about a lot is who's going to pay for our Social Security in the near future, and who's going to this, and it's not going to replace all the older people that are dying off, and it's always for a wicked, selfish agenda. They don't care about people having babies and having a heritage. They don't give a damn about that. So that's all she's saying. So I look at the comment section, right? The guy in the video says, well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't care. I'm not mad about the birth rate going down. Of course not. But she's not saying, her message is not directed to the general population, like people like us. She's talking about people up in the high, like the billions and in those positions and high places. Because they're the ones that's pushing the agenda. So we obviously know that. So people in the comment section, right? If you look at this comment section, they start going on talking about the woman, talking about, oh, I already knew as soon as I saw the bonnet, entitled. She wants to, she's like the type of woman that wants people to take care of her kids. She feels entitled. You got another person saying the same thing. Then you got another person saying, yeah, I saw that bonnet, I already knew it. Then you got another person that's on there saying, who's responsible for your children? Who says the government's supposed to care about the hungry and they're supposed to care about your kids, Yes, it's your responsibility as a parent. And, it was just the same stupid comments, right? And I'm sitting there like, you guys are manipulating what this woman said all around 360. Nowhere did she say anything that the government is responsible for children, or that you need to pay for more extra tax dollars because I can't have kids. Nor did she say she want to have kids. She said, who wants to bring kids into the world like this? And she's saying, in essence, they're mad about the fact that you're not having kids. So people try to say, we're not mad about you not having kids. Well, Dad, she's not talking about the general population. And I'm sorry, but I feel like these people already know where she's going at, but they're just trying to act stupid and just go around her words and act and manipulate everything she's saying. So there was only a few people in there that was like agreeing with this woman, and they try to make her seem like she's stupid or dumb, and like she's dumb, she's so ignorant, she don't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, you guys are just, wow, I've never seen people so blind and ignorant and manipulative in my life. I mean, like, I've seen it, but I'm talking about to this degree with that many people in the comment section. I mean, it was more people, like, attacking this woman than people really getting the message of what she's saying. And it's the fact that they jumped to conclusions about her. Nowhere, and they made it seem like because she's wearing a bonnet and because she's black, and she's telling you that who wants to bring children into the world with an economy this way, right? And the government they're mad. She's talking about the government and the people in the high places. They're mad and they're frustrated about it, okay? But yet don't want to help you take care of the baby. All she's saying is like, don't sit here and suggest that we need to have kids, but yet you don't want to have a helping hand. Then don't sit here and get mad then, because we can't afford them right now. But yet you want to push the idea of having kids, but yet don't want to help out, and you don't want to take care of the kids. Talk about that's your responsibility. Then don't tell me what to do then. That's like sitting back and telling somebody, a good example, telling somebody, hey, you go to their house, right? Now this person's on a fixed income. You need to get better curtains. You know, your curtains look, I don't know, they look kind of cheap. Yeah, like you need to get better curtains. You're like, oh yeah, I can't afford it right now. Yeah, why don't you guys got a couch in your house? Because I can't afford it. I work, I pay bills, and it's just too much for me to handle right now. Like I mean right now I can't afford that furniture. It's a shame your kids got to sit on the ground in their living room. Or bitch, are you gonna freaking pay for it? Or that's what you feel like saying to them. Like, don't tell me what I need to do if you're not willing to help me. You know what I mean? Don't sit there and open your mouth and give unwanted advice or suggestions if you're not going to do anything about it. Nobody asks for your advice. No one asks for you to tell me what needs to be in my house. And that's exactly what she's trying to say in essence. So they try to manipulate it. Then they try to say, well, what the problem is you need to get married and have a husband, and then you won't have these problems. Where did she say she wasn't married? Do you know if she's married or not? And even if she wasn't, that's not the point. It's amazing how people want to jump and ride around the bush and act like they don't know what this woman's talking about, and yet will manipulate and try to deceive and distort this woman's character by making it seem like she's this ghetto black woman that has babies out of wedlock, that's not married, and her problem is she didn't get married. Let me tell you something. There's people with 2 jobs right now that are married and struggling and homeless right now. Because we're living in times where things are difficult. This has nothing to do with a woman being a single mother or a woman having SNAP benefits. Nowhere does she say that. These people are manipulating the whole conversation. I'm like, wow, it's amazing when people want to not understand you. It's true. There's a such thing as people not wanting to understand you. They want to misunderstand you. And it's like they'll just take your message and manipulate it into something it wasn't even intended to. She didn't even intend to say the things that you're even making assumptions about. So it was only a few people in the comment section that got what she was saying. It was like, I get what she's saying. She's 100% right. She's saying, I don't know what you guys, you guys are literally overlooking what she's saying because you're too stuck on your judgments about her that you're overlooking her message. And the thing gets me is that fact that there was people in the comment section that said something about her bonnet, and that's all they needed to see. And they automatically start saying, "Oh, black woman bonnet, yeah, she's a woman that wants to be on child support. Yep, she's a woman that wants not child support. She's a woman that wants to be on SNAP benefits, and she wants welfare checks, and she wants a big daddy to take care of her kids." Where did she say that? What? I wear bonnets on in my house. I wear wraps on my hair. There's times I come on the stream with a wrap on. You know why I wear wraps on as a black woman? Because I have Afro texture hair. Right now it's straightened, but it's very hard taking care of our hair type. And so, when you wash and straighten it, you gotta wrap it if you want it to last long. If you have it in braids, because it's hard doing our hair. I'm not saying that you can't put it up in a nice bun, but you have to brush it out. You got to take care of it, or it can break off. It can get damaged. That's why black women wear bonnets on their hair. And I'm sitting here, and the guy that's sitting in the video is a black man named Anton. And I'm like, dude, like, you don't know this? Like, why women wear that on their hair? When they go outside with a bonnet on, it doesn't mean they're nasty or they're dirty, they don't shower. It means that they're protecting their hair. They're not at work where they have to wear their hair professional. They're protecting their hair because they probably spent lots of money to take care of it because they're tired of doing it. Or they did it themselves and they're like, let me wrap my hair. I wrap my hair all the time in my house. I wear shower caps on sometimes, because my hair probably is either, not done, or either it's I'm getting ready to go in the shower after this. Why is it that people have to jump to these kind of conclusions because of something like a bonnet on someone's head? I don't understand. And so it's like, if you don't know what you're talking about, and when it comes to other cultural differences, just don't say nothing at all. Like, don't sit there and start making an assumption. Oh, she must be lazy. Or yeah, she's a lazy kind of woman that wears bonnets on her head, and she don't want to take care of her kids and all. What? Oh, let me say this. And these are the type of people. If I had put a video out and let's say I got the views that woman got on her video, and I'm sure they would have said the same thing about me. Because guess what? I wear wraps on my head. And it would have been like, oh, this black girl, yeah, she probably have a bunch of baby daddies probably out there, don't work. Because look at her trying to look cute on her other picture. She probably, gets a gold digger, And like, none of that's even true. They work. If anything, my man wasn't the one that wasn't working for a long time. He is. It's been over 3 years. And I'm very thankful for that. They'll probably be with a white husband and picture, yeah, she a gold digger. She probably don't even love her husband. She probably using it for money. Oh, using who for money? Because if anything, he was using me for money. I mean, not to say he really was using me for money, but I'm saying as a figure of speech. He was the one that was living off me for a while, okay? For a good amount of years. But at the end of it, we're married, so it's both for our money. But what I'm saying in essence, if you want to say it like that, I can sit back and say the same thing. I work hard. I have a second job on the side, and guess what? There were many times I went broke, and that's why I didn't have kids. So that was her whole point. She was trying to say is that having kids in this world is hard. It's ridiculous. Things have gone up in price. She was just summarizing everything in one setting because she's on it's a shorts video. She was summarizing everything in a smaller way about everything that's going on and why people don't have kids, because people that are in higher places want to sit here and make it a big deal or make it seem like it's such an issue when it's a crisis. So now you want to be mad because you're in a crisis and people don't want to have kids. That's what she's talking about. She's not saying, oh, the general population's mad, because everybody's like, well, I'm not mad. I don't know what she's talking about. She's not talking about people like us. I'm like, either these people are so stuck on their judgment about her that they overlook her message, they're literally trying not to understand her and make her look stupid or something, because they obviously they have an issue with the way she looks with a bonnet on her head. And so they just want to make her look like this ignorant black woman with a bonnet on her head that don't know what she's talking about. But she obviously is very smart, and I can listen to her and tell what she's talking about. Say, this woman knows what she's talking about. You're just trying to manipulate it and make it seem like she don't know what she's talking about, but she very much does know what she's talking about. It's crazy. I looked at it, I said, oh boy, I gotta leave this section here. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just something I think that to think about. Like it's crazy how somebody can manipulate something. And you know what? This actually makes me go back to years ago when I first, this happened to me when I first used to go on the streams, right? This going back, 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago, when I first came on the streams on YouTube. I used to go into the CNN chats. I didn't have a picture on at first, right? But I remember telling people, because at the time I was, I wasn't for any kind of president. You know what I mean? I've never really have been for, like, why is a car beeping the horn at that person? Wait, the car was beeping the horn at that other person because they were waiting for me to go through. It's like she's waiting for me to go through. Like, be patient. I remember at the time I was very, very much against Trump, right? At the time. And I'm still have a lot of mixed emotions, but I wouldn't say I'm a Trump supporter, but I'm not like anti-Trump where I hate Trump and I want to see him die type of thing. I'm not on that level. I mean, for one, I'm a child of God. I'm not supposed to think that way. So, I'll admit Trump did very well in his first term. I don't know if I could say the same about the second. I'm just going to keep it real, because the truth is if Biden if Biden was doing what Trump is doing now, I would have a problem with him too. And I wasn't a big fan of Biden as well. I'm not really for any side. I'm just more of an independent thinker, and I'm more like, who of the lesser evils are going to do best for my country? That's just it. I just feel like we're just doomed one way or another. But at that time in 2016, I really, really just didn't like Trump. I was very anti, I just did not like him. And there are some things that, I have my opinions about. So people automatically, found out my color and then started assuming all sorts of things about me. Oh yeah, you probably live on welfare. Yep, you probably grew up on that. You probably, probably don't work, probably stay at home and blah, blah. I'm sitting there like, first of all, don't stay at home. No, I work my ass off. My husband is white. He's the one that's staying the hell home, not me. You know what I mean? I'm the one providing for my man, okay? I'm the one busting my ass and working full time, okay? He's the one that's sitting there and it was at home. And, it's not to sit back and say that, I wear the pants relationship. I don't. But my whole point is the idea of their thinking. I can sit back and turn around and say the same thing and be like, oh yeah, well, I'm the breadwinner and I'm this and I'm the one this. But I didn't say that. I said, well, we're married, so it's both of our money, right? Then eventually I had a picture. And I started doing 2018, started doing some streams here and there and, trying to open up more to, help out with my, anxiety, because there was a time that I just didn't like really speaking around a lot of people or, even the idea of even seeing a video of me or hearing my voice or nothing. I would get so much anxiety. So, and I still have some anxiety with public speaking and stuff today, but I think I've gotten a lot better way better with speaking out with people and talking around a group of people and stuff. I remember people sitting back literally saying, well, she's a gold digger. Yep, she's one of those kind of women, because I was dancing to some song and I was shaking my butt, right? Shaking, right? Automatically, people are sitting there talking, oh, well, yep, she using that poor white man. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she with him. You know why she with him? Because she was there for the money. Yeah, she a gold digger. That's what the problem is. You're like, what? Like, you laugh. You're like, wow. It's amazing how people will jump to a conclusion within 3 seconds of watching you. Yeah, she probably don't work. Probably sits home lazy. Don't do nothing. And you're like, for all you know, all that whole time, I work hard. My husband didn't work for years. I busted my tail with 2 jobs. took care of some of my nephews, nieces. I mean, not my niece, but my nephew. That was my nephews. They were young at the time. Okay. I was faithful. Never cheated on my husband. I cooked. I cleaned. Gave him a hot meal every day, even when I worked and busted my toe. Did my wifely duties. And all I wanted was just a little fun because I was stressed. And I ain't gonna lie, I was very stressed. I was very, very stressed out. And that was my way of just being able to just leash and have fun and do things. Not to sit there and talk to a man online, or not to sit there and use my husband and while I just sit home and be lazy and da da da. No, I'm stressed and I'm just trying to have a good time. And I was younger then. So, when you're young like that, you want to have a little fun. It happens. But you'll have somebody out there that will always manipulate something. Always manipulate your character, manipulate what you say, manipulate your life and say, oh yeah, this is what you're doing when you're not doing that. And you're like, what? But the funniest of them all, it got to the point where I just started laughing because and they started saying I was a gold digger. And I mean, it had me laughing one time. I just started laughing. I said, these people really believe I'm this black woman that's married to this white guy and gold digging off his money. That's why I'm with him. I laugh. I really laugh. I'm like, wow. Automatically, I'm shaking my butt and dancing and doing dance moves. Oh yeah, I know what kind of woman she is. Yeah, gold digger hoe, out there doing whatever she was doing, and yeah, you're probably lazy as hell using that white man, and blah blah blah. And you're like, what? Wow. I would just start laughing at that point. I'm like, wow, this is just crazy. And while all they're far from the truth, don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But that's what it reminds me of when I saw that video, and I said, wow, it's just a constant reminder of like how things can easily get manipulated. And this woman was just summarizing up the idea of what's going on with the world and how they're complaining about the birth rate crisis, and they're sitting there and turning it into something completely off about her wearing a bonnet on. That's how I could tell, because she's, look at her, yep. And you see as a black woman with a bonnet, and they're automatically making assumptions about her. Oh, she probably was never married. Oh, yep, that's her problem. You need to find a husband. You needed this, you needed that. And you won't have that issue. Oh, you. The problem is you need to find a job. You're living off of welfare, SNAP benefits, and blah blah blah. You're like, what? That's not even going on half of the time. You don't even know this woman, and it's like they're so stuck on their judgments of her that they overlook everything she's saying, and what she says is very true. And then they try to manipulate it and make her look like she's stupid and she's not intelligent. I'm like, wow. Do you even know why she's wearing the damn bonnet on her head? Like, come on now. And then they sit back and say, well, we're not responsible for your children. She never said you were. That's not the point. The point is she's saying is don't sit here and complain about the crisis, birth rate crisis, when you're not willing to when you're not willing to do anything to support your country, like lower the cost of living, lower the gas prices, lower the freaking food prices. Okay, all this stuff is going up. It started with Biden and it's just gotten worse. That's all that's happened. Now it's worse with Trump. It's just getting worse as we go. So that's her message, really. I know what her message is saying. So they're sitting there and just trying to not understand her and just turn her message around because they don't want to accept what she's saying is true. So they start nitpicking her character, nitpick how she looks, nitpick what she says, and then sits back and make assumptions on her message and say, well, we're not responsible for your children. She never said you were. That's not what she's saying. I know exactly what she's saying. And I'd be damned if someone came up in my house and told me, oh, you need to get a bed for your children. They shouldn't be sleeping on mats. Well, I'm struggling right now, so I don't have the money. Are you going to help me? That's not our responsibility. Then shut the hell up then. Don't tell me what I need to do for my children when I'm struggling and you're not willing to do anything to help me. It's people like that. I'm sorry. People like that make your mama can't go south. And, I go the other way, okay? I get a little ghetto, and that type of stuff is annoying and it's upsetting when people have so much to say about somebody and say that you need to do this and you need to do that, but yet you're not putting a helping hand in. So why the hell are you even talking? You're not. Are you gonna help? Are you gonna help me with that bed for my kids? Then don't tell me what I need for my house then. Oh, your cabinets are low. Your kids, they're hungry. Girl, you need to feed these kids. What are you doing? I don't know. You gonna help me? All right, so then don't tell me what I need to do. You don't know my circumstances. So that's all she's saying. I know exactly what she's saying. And then they try to manipulate, make it look like she's unintelligent. She don't know what she's talking about. She's stupid. Her brain, her brain, she got a little pencil brain. She ain't got no little pencil brain. The lady's smart. She obviously knows what she's talking about. It's just you guys want to see her and manipulate her message because you don't like what she's saying. That's why. When people don't like the truth and they don't like what you're saying, they always want to manipulate it into something it isn't. I got to post it up just so people see what I'm talking about, that I'm not over-exaggerating this. This is exactly what was happening in the video. And it's just something that gets you thinking a lot. It's just something that, to me, is a very irritating thing. If there's one thing that upsets me a lot, more than anything, is somebody that manipulates. A manipulative person. I don't know what it is. It's like, I think that makes me more angry than a jealous, envious person or a person that even lies about their life. Like, to me, I just think a person that manipulates is just a sneaky kind of person. Like that, it just irritates me. It irks my nerve. I don't like that. It's like I was like, I gotta leave out of this comment section. Oh boy, I'm like, wow. I'm gonna post it up. All I'm gonna put is wow. That's it. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm just like, wow. My sister actually is, she brought that man up too because she watches his videos as well. She caught on to his stuff too and said, yeah, I noticed a lot of people in his comment section and him himself, they're very judgmental about people, and I noticed that they're always judging certain kind of people and things they wear on, and there was a woman with a nose ring one day, right? So it was a white lady this time. She had a nose ring in. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm just saying that they only target black women. They don't. They target all sorts of type of women. There was another woman that had a nose ring in her nose. And, she was a white lady, and, she was talking about, like how it's hard nowadays to raise children and to do things, and she's been very stressed. She's crying. Oh, here they go in the comment section. Oh, yeah, yep. That's what happens when you have children. Well, before you marry. Yeah, you should have gotten married. Yeah, that's why you're in that situation. You're like, what? Yep, that nose ring. Yep, that's all I need to see. That's all I need to see. Yep, I know those kind of women. Yep, they hoes, running around. You're like, wow, are you serious? They're sitting back saying because she has a nose ring that's obviously a hoe and she's out there sleeping around and she's not married. I'm like, wow. Oh, she could have a husband and been married to a man that was probably a bum for years. Okay, you don't even know. You don't know her circumstances. And even if she wasn't married, let's say she made a big mistake. That's not the point. The point she's saying is that having kids is rough. I made some mistakes in life, or I made too many choices pretty quickly. And now I'm grieving it. That's all she's saying. And she's just sharing it with other people because there's other people out there that feel like, I would like to have kids. But all she's saying is, be careful with your choices. Even if you're married, don't just rush and have kids. So a lot of people, she's just sending a genuine, heartfelt message out there to people, sharing her feelings. That's just human nature. So they turn what she does and says around it's something negative. And they were like, oh yeah, why she probably out there having a bunch of babies with different daddies. That's probably what the problem is. How do you not know that man cheated on her? Maybe she was married to him. What if he cheated on her and then, now she's by herself, or he was a guy that she was planning on marrying and he screwed up and she had the right intentions and he didn't. You don't know their situation. And everybody screws up. That doesn't mean they don't have a right to grieve their situation. Why is she venting online? Well, maybe because there's other people out there that relate to her. Maybe there are people out there that relate to the things that she relates to, and maybe they feel lonely because they don't know who to talk to about that situation. Like, come on. And you know what I felt like saying to them? Well, why do you feel the need to judge her? Why do you care to judge this woman, you know? maybe I should tell them that one day. You know, like, I mean, it's mind blowing. I don't know. But there's this video, and I've mentioned about this woman before, Cassandra Mack. I love her because she's very wise Christian woman. And she was mentioning on a video of hers, and I gotta watch it. It's about, like, there are some people that are dedicated to misunderstanding you. That is so true. I never that title right there speaks a lot of values. And she's right. There are people out there that they are dedicated. Okay? They are dedicated to misunderstanding you. Means they don't want to understand you. You can literally go step by step and explain a situation, and they will sit here and manipulate the whole thing, all because they do not want to accept what you're saying, nor do they want to believe it or listen or hear it. But they are very much dedicated to misunderstanding you and twisting up something you say. And when she said that, when that video came up in my comment section, I was like, wow, that spoke a lot of volumes. And it made me think to this video here. I said, wow, to this video with the woman with the bonnet. I'm like, it's amazing how people will twist something up. Yeah, she ghetto. I know what kind of person that is. That's a ghetto person. Yeah, she's probably on SNAP benefits. Why is it that a woman with a woman that's black with a bonnet, why you gotta automatically resort to the idea that she's on SNAP benefits and on welfare? That's not every black woman. I'm not on SNAP benefits. I can't even qualify for them, okay? They'll say that me and my husband make too much, and we don't. And this is me and my husband working together. So guess what? My husband does work. But guess what? If I was to drop my job to have a bunch of babies because society told me, well, we have a birth crisis, guess what? Me and my husband would be living on the streets. Because his money, even with our incomes together, we're in a one-bedroom apartment. That's how we're making it. If we were to live in another upgraded apartment out there, that's like $2,000, $3,000, we'd be broke right now. There are a lot of people right now making $100,000 a year, and they're living in their cars because maybe they had a house they could afford at once. And now $100,000 is not even enough in some situations. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm saying in some situations, it depends. Your living conditions, what you got to pay, your bills. I don't know. Everybody has different things on their list. There are people who are making $60,000 and they can't even make it. And they're living in their cars. And they're like, I got to find an apartment now or downgrade. But they got so much debts and expenses they got to pay. Or they got a house and they lose their house. You know, but they're like, why would I move into an apartment when some of these apartments are running at $3,000, $4,000? That's ridiculous. I'm not going to pay for that. They're like, I lived in a house for this kind of price. Now I got to live in this? Like, hell no. And then you don't know if the apartment got roaches or rats or anything in there, you know. Thankfully, mine's don't, you know. I mean, I have a little mice that comes to visit every once in a blue moon. I haven't seen the little friend in a long while. I still have a live trap for him whenever he's ready to come on out. He keeps them alive, you know, and you take them back out to the wild because I don't want to kill any animal. You know, I would feel horrible killing a poor mouse, you know. But, you know, like, people's situation is tough. We're living in some really tough times right now. I'm not saying that, you know, there aren't things you can't cut and budget and stuff, but there's some people who really just, it doesn't matter what they do. It's a lot, especially when you have kids. You got 2-3 car payments, or you pay for your kids' student loans, and you're paying for this and that. It's a lot. Child care is running at $1,800 to $2,000 now. I mean, like, come on now. Your checks are going to be going after you're done with all that. And they're doing house bids now. So, you know, they want you to make double the amount that you make to get a house. And then there's people doing house bidding, fighting over houses. And then whoever does the highest bid, they get the house. That's what happened with my mom when she had to get her townhouse. And that's what happened with my sister when she was trying to get the one house, that old school looking house that we saw. It was really nice looking. But, you know, we saw somebody there that was already bidding. And they were like, Mom, I need you to put the down payment on this house, because her mom probably had the money in her account. And we were like, oh, we see where this is going. But it's just, you know, the way things are today is way different than it was back then. I told you the difference. And don't think that I'm saying that people didn't struggle back then. They struggled very much back in the days. Okay, we went through Great Depression. You know, you have people on the bread line, okay? On the bread line. But the difference back then was that you can do it on one person. So one person can work and be poor and broke and on pennies. But guess what? The wife can still stay home and take care of her kids. That was the only difference back then. The only difference. And then, of course, you had a lot of women that got abused back in the days. They got mistreated back in the days. That's just a known fact. We're not going to sit here and lie and be blind to it, turn a blind eye. That's what happened back in the days. So the women started, saying, I need to start working. I need to start having some more rights. I know a lot of women. The 80-year-old nurse I worked with told me what happened back in her days. She was a victim of abuse herself. That's why she had to work 2 jobs to take care of her kids. And thankfully, her parents were nice enough to help her, or she would have had some tough time. She left the guy because he was hitting her. He was, hitting on her. Then I know of another person who her husband beat her so bad he left scars on her back to this day. And then she did this behind. She blew his balls off one day. She went crazy. This is going back in the days. You're talking about people that are in their 70s and 80s. Then there was a woman that I knew that was in her 70s. And, one day I told her I didn't want to vote now, because I didn't know who to vote for. And, to each their own. Everybody, you have a right to vote or not to vote. But they felt kind of upset when I told them that. And I said, why are you mad about me not voting? So the woman and the nurse that I worked with came to me and said, Candace, do you understand the rights that you have as a woman now? And I said, yeah, I understand. I know that we came a long way. She says, well, take advantage of that. She says, because back in our days, we didn't have all the rights you women had, or the protective services that you women have today. She says, do you know back in the days, men raped their wives? They force you to do stuff. So yeah, they used to force you to have sex with them and things. And I'm sitting there like disturbed. Now this is going back, 8 years ago. And these are 2 women in my ear telling me the same thing. And they're older women. Like we used to get, like they used to rape us and do all sorts of things to us. Like, we had to sit there and shut our mouths because we were like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I gotta take care of my kids. I gotta keep the peace in the house. Am I saying it was like that for every marriage? No. So don't sit here and take what I say and say, oh, Candace is manipulating this conversation. She's saying that every woman back in the days got abused by their husbands. That's not what I said. I'm saying that it was a common thing. It was something that happened a lot more often than what you think, and a lot of them stay silent about it because it's shameful. Like, I know of a woman, she told me her husband used to, not that he forced her to have sex, but that he wanted her to do things that she didn't want to do. And she was pregnant one time, and she had to get on her knees while she was pregnant and give him head because that's what he wanted. And they were taught that that's all you do. You're supposed to listen to your husband. If he tells you to do something, that's it. That's abuse. That may not be physical abuse, but that is a mental, emotional abuse. That's degrading. When you have to make your wife do something she don't want to do, and then you have to swallow. Really? Hell no. Hell no. My husband never tells me to do something like that, and I'm going to bite your I'm sorry, I'm going to bite this thing right off. Okay? That's gross. That's nasty. And you're going to sit here and make somebody go and do something like that? That's degrading. And she told me that. She was a 70-year-old woman. And I said, what? She said, yeah, I used to do a lot of stuff. Like my husband told me I have to do that. And he wasn't always nice. And, he told her to get on her knees while she was pregnant with a big belly and give head to him and swallow. I said, wow. I said, oh my goodness. I said, I'm glad that I'm not in those days where I have to be forced to do something, I mean, that happened back in the days, and some women are just silent on it. I know a lot of women that are older. I'm not talking about people maybe in their 60s. I'm talking about above that had to do a lot of things, or their husbands cheated on them. Like, somebody that's in their 80s now, and her husband cheated on her several times, gave her gonorrhea 7 times, and it's like, you're his wife, you got to do your wifely duties. And because she didn't have a job, and she had to leave school, and because she had some situation happen when she was younger, She had to leave school to take care of her family, and then gets married and gets done up dirty like that. And because she doesn't work, and he only gave her $20 a month. That was it. Had 6 kids and everything for him. You know, that's fucked up. That's wrong. That's really wrong. Um, you know, and then you have to sit there and work hard, and you have to take care and bear their children while they're sitting there doing that, and then say you need to do this because you're my wife. When they tell people at their community in the churches or certain things, oh well, you gotta work things out with your man, your husband, and you're sitting there getting affections constantly. Now today we have a lot more rights. Now women can work, we can do certain things, and even now, even with domestic cases, they still don't do enough. And what I mean by that is they may give restraining orders, but you think that works? No. I have a family member who had her head shot off back down south because she had an abusive husband. He was a cop, of course. And my cousin's his motherless to this day. They don't do enough. And then they say, oh, well, you guys have joint custody of the kids. So, yeah, you don't think that man's going to follow her home or something and shoot her and kill her? And then if she kills him, guess what? They're gonna take her to jail. You know what I mean? It's never enough. It's mind blowing. But just imagine back in the days how it was for those women, and how they had to stay silent. And they were getting hit and beaten and raped by their husbands, or they were getting peer pressured and told and guilt tripped into doing something, and then their husband's calling them names and you're a worthless wife because you're not doing this for me and da da da. You know what I mean? They're having kids and stuff with them. It's like that's degrading. It's very degrading. Now we don't have to deal with that anymore. So that's why women work. Trust me, if I could, I wouldn't mind staying home and be a stay-at-home wife and cook and clean and maybe work maybe 2 days because I do like to work. But I would like to not have to work every day if I could and be a housewife. But I wouldn't want to do it for 2 reasons. One, okay, the way things are, money, finances, we wouldn't be able to make it. 2, I don't want to be in a predicament like that where I'm so dependent on somebody that if I had to leave because of my life or certain situations that, like you just don't know. My husband, I don't think he would ever put his hand on me. No. But let's say something happened to him and I was just stay home, be out of work all these years, got out of touch with stuff. And now I'm like, oh, I got so used to staying home that now it's going to be hard for me to just go back to just in groove and working. I don't want that. I want to always be independent thinker, independent person. Now, if you're a woman that wants to depend on a man, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying why there are some women who think opposite and say, I want to be independent. Because you got a lot of people that sit back in those comment sections of same man in those videos. The problem is you got to get married. You need to be home. My husband took care of me and I stay home and okay, that's you. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing. But don't make it seem like that has to be for everybody. Not everybody's you. Not everybody's going to take that road. And it's for good reasons. So you shouldn't be so quick to judge it. But yeah, I've had old people, like women, tell me these things. And it was traumatizing. When they tell me these stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh. And the 80-year-old lady I know, she opened up to me about that one day. She said, I was a victim of domestic abuse. That's why I'm the way I am. Because, she could be pretty harsh and very firm and and then I understood why she was the way she was. I understood now. And then, so when I said I didn't want to vote, she, got so mad at me, like, girl, she's like, you don't understand how much rights you have and how good you have. And you got a chance to vote. Just do it for the heck of it because you can do it. He's like, go out there and take advantage of your freedoms as a woman in this country, and I understand why she was getting so mad. And the woman that was older, like the same age as her, standing in front of me, she was a patient I was checking out at the time. And,
and she was said the same thing. She said, yeah, those men used to rape us back in the days, and used to rape their wives and stuff. You know that? And she's looking at me like that. I'm just sitting there like this, like, oh boy, and there's people. I'm kind of embarrassed, put on the spot, because there's these people walking past by, listening, and they're telling me these things. And then the lady that told me about what she did for her husband when she was pregnant, I'm like, oh God, oh. It's just, it was pretty deep, that was pretty personal, but I guess maybe that's why they got so mad when I said that. But not that I said anything wrong. If I don't want to vote, it's not a bad thing or a good thing. Some people don't even believe in voting, but I kind of had an understanding of where they were coming at, why they were mad, but yeah. So when I see those kind of comics on the section and they say stuff like that, it gets me annoyed. It gets me very upset. You know, it's like, manipulating stuff, or they speak too soon, they don't even know a person's situation, and just automatically assume like, yeah, that's the problem. The problem is you women need to stay home and stop sitting out there working, get the man back into working. It's like, no, like, hey, if a man wants to work, that's great. I love that. But if I want to work because I want to be a woman that has some kind of income, and I want to be able to have some kind of work ethic and be able to have something on my resume to say, hey, I got a lot of experience at something, there's nothing wrong with that, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know what I mean? Tomorrow your husband can pass, and you got to do it on your own. Where's your resume? They're going to say, oh yeah, I don't have a resume, I don't have work experience. You get what I'm trying to say? That's why some women like to work, because of things like that. They like to have a resume on them. They like to have something showing that they have experience in things, because when things hit the fan, guess what? They got a plan. You just remember that. When things hit the fan, they got what? A plan. I just did a rap without even trying. So yeah, I'm gonna get going. I'm home now. I got a few things I have to do. And, if EQ's up for talking or having a stream tonight around 8, I'll be available from 8 to 10 o'clock. And then after that, I'm heading to SAC. So I'll probably message him. But take care, guys. God bless. I'm gonna show that video and post it so people see that I'm not just over exaggerating this. This is what really happened, And I'm like, wow. Oh boy. But I'm gonna. Oh, someone texted me. I think it's my mother-in-law. God bless everybody. Take care. Or so on my downtime. I probably have like an hour or so of downtime somewhere throughout the weekend because I do work. So, and my other job. But take care, guys. Bye. Gotta go.